it like over 20 times.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like I start to like memorize quotes, like memorize the whole damn episode. I know exactly what's going on every time.
Right. All right, yo, it's 9:01.
Yeah, I'm live now.
All right.
Oh, did we start off with some office talk?
I think we did.
I don't think so.
It's okay.
Not bad.
It's about having fun, making money with friends, right?
I think so.
Or
Let's see
losing
if-
money with friends.
Or, well, you know, let's focus on the positive.
Okay, looks like we're live. I just need to get the actual stream going up. If you guys want to introduce yourselves, you can while we're getting set up.
All right, I'm New Fish Big Pond.
And I'm Darren.
Nerds. Absolute nerds.
Yeah, we're nerds.
Look, man, we're just a couple of guys that like to have fun, talk stocks, talk trading plans, help our
Yeah, talk
followers
about
with money.
TV shows.
Hey, look, we all got a life too, right?
Yeah, we do things. Really important thing.
So,
But
you saw the
introduce
guy
yourself, New
behind
Fish.
the-
Besides all that,
what's that?
All right, so New Fish Big Pond here. I'm a swing trader, meaning that I hold stocks for just a few days, typically try to capitalize on some market movement. And then I sort of move on to the next best thing in my mind. Unless I have a high conviction in something, then I'll hold it for a little bit longer. And, you know, it could possibly turn into a longer term investment for me. But I like to keep things moving. It's probably due to my ADHD. My brain's always all over the place. Like, all right, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Where are we going? So it helps me focus to be a swing trader.
yeah, definitely. I'm Darren, and I've been stock trading for a while now. I joined After Hour this year in February. It wasn't available. It was on Apple for the longest time, so it finally came on Android, and I have an Android smartphone, so I downloaded it, and I been following Sir Jack for a while, and he kind of led me into looking into more trades more closely. So basically, I see a bunch of stocks that I like, and I follow them. I follow industries and whatnot, sectors. And so, like, I'm kind of like New Fish there. I do like to day trade and swing trade. I try to be a week ahead of the market. So all my plays are usually like a week or two ahead of time. And I have a long-term investment and I have a short-term investment. And so it's, I think that's really important. You just have stocks that you just let sit there inside of a profile, and then you have another one that you actively manage. And so yeah, that's my trading strategy. New Fish, what stock are we going to talk about first?
I mean, hey, look, Rigetti Computing, they had a bang out day. I think they did something like 45%. I'm pulling up those numbers right now. Rigetti Computing is a little small or smaller quantum computing company. If you look them up online, you might see two different buildings, as Darren just showed me.
Fix this echo real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry for the technical difficulties. 1 second, guys. I think it's just I need to leave and rejoin the call. Okay, let's try it now.
All right.
You guys can start
we have to
talking
start
and I'll
over?
figure it out. No. They hear you. We're good.
Okay. All right, cool. So, Rigetti Computing, they had a gain today of 45.19%. Not bad for a little small quantum computing company. Quantum computing, as I've said before, and as some of us know, some of us may not know, but it is in its infancy. I did not see Rigetti coming out like this. It's had an incredible, I mean, returns in the past 5 days are 106.69%. It's currently trading at $6.49 per share. I have 100 shares of it. I also have a $2.50 call for January 17th that I will be exercising. It's just it's a price moving powerhouse, and I like being in the quantum computing space. I'm in it with Rigetti, I'm in it with Qubits, and I'm also in it with IonQ. But Rigetti's price movement is the most profitable as far as percentage is concerned. So, in my opinion, I just need to get more.
Yeah. And I think I actually found out about Rigetti from you. Like, I think you listed quite a few of the quantum stocks, and I got into Rigetti Computing at $2.50. I think that was like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I
And
got
yeah, I don't have any calls, but I do have just shares, and I think that's probably a safe way to play this one because you just never really know. Like, are we really in the infancy of quantum computing right now, or is it just some sort of fad? You know what
so.
I'm saying?
Yeah. That's insane. I think we are in the infancy of quantum computing. Um, but I don't think it's going to be these small caps that get us there. I think it's definitely going to be like Google, Amazon, and whatever company is ahead, they're just going to buy up. Because these
So
companies are at a market cap they could easily buy up in the snap of their finger.
it's interesting that you mentioned Amazon because if memory serves, Rigetti, one of the reasons I bought Rigetti for two reasons. One of them was that I had read that Rigetti works with Amazon or with Amazon AWS. Uh, so that to me was very interesting, and I was like, okay, cool. You know what? I can do this. We, it was $1.68 when I went in. Um, and yeah, I agree with you that quantum computing is in its infancy. I do not believe it's a fad. There are just there's just too much potential for this space to go by the wayside. Um,
Well, let me
Bridget,
explain about the whole fad thing. It's just that there's quite a bit of them. You know, you got like QBPT and you got the Rigetti, IonQ, but I think that's like the front runner.
yeah,
And
IonQ and IBM are the front runners in this space.
yeah, and so it would make more sense if like a bigger company like that buys these smaller companies and just becomes, bigger in the same field. We see that happen all the time in different sectors in the market.
I agree with that. I tell you what, I would love to be a shareholder during a buyout.
Yeah, for,
That's a
for
good
real,
point.
yeah.
That's a
You
very
know?
good point there, especially the earlier you can get in, right?
Right. My cost basis right now is $1.68. I do have to give a quick shout out to Atypically Erect. Uh, that dude
On After
has
Hour.
on After Hour. That's right. That dude has he's got a crazy portfolio. You look at it and you're like, what is this guy doing? Guess what? It doesn't matter what we think. It's his portfolio, and he's printing green, and that's what matters. So when I saw this on his portfolio, I asked him what it was. He told me that it was quantum computing, and I was like, all right, it's cheap enough for a gamble. I'm willing to take a cheap gamble on this, and I'm very happy that I did.
Definitely.
Yeah, so like I'm just looking at his profile right now, just because you're able to do that on After Hour. He got in at $1.45 a share, and he has 3,001 shares. So now it's worth $6.49, and that is a $15,131 total on just one stock. Like I don't know if
That he
there's
paid that he
yeah.
paid about $4,500 to get into.
Isn't that insane? Like this is what stock trading is about, you know. This is what after hours is about. Oh, look at this. His portfolio is up $14,945 today. And it's $101,000 portfolio now. He started at like what,
You made 101?
$5,000?
He was at
He's at
88,000
101.
earlier today.
He's killing it. I think that everybody should just kind of follow what he does
Yeah,
and mimic it because
definitely.
look at look at all his red stocks, I think, and just buy those
That's
because
what I was
they're bound
thinking
to
of
just
doing
go
as
up.
well.
that's
So
that's
that's
one
actually
strategy,
correct. That's actually
right?
correct. That's the way to look at it. Anything that he has that's red that he's been holding, you know he's holding it for a reason. We don't know what that reason is,
Well, we have an
but
idea.
we have a great idea. We have a really good idea. His screen
Yeah,
name is there for a reason. Just look at his portfolio.
yeah. Early on, like I followed him on After Hour. He was just coming out with constantly, atypically erect plays. Just constant big green lines. And just banger after banger, and then you're just like, what is he doing? Like, oh, he's just getting shares, but he's buying like thousands of them. And so I'm also looking at XCUR, Xker or whatnot. He bought 1,000 shares of that
Yep.
at hold on, let's see here, $4.65, and now it's at $16.15. And I actually know that went down. It used to be around $25, I think. So he's still holding those shares, and he's made $11,501 in profit. So this might be a
Incredible.
good dip opportunity to maybe get into Execure, XCUR. Wow, I'm just really amazed by these plays he's putting out. Big shout out to Atypically Erect. Like he's just killing it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's awesome, man.
I also see
Um,
he has 51 shares of UVXY. If you don't
UVXY.
know, yes, that's a stock that is a UltraVix Pro shares, and usually when the market moves very fast, like the SPY and the QQQ, in up or down direction, that stock will shoot up. And I believe it's more for the downside that UVXY goes upwards. For instance, in the pandemic, UVXY shot up. I want to say $1,000. So it was something crazy. Like for instance, like right now, it's UVXY is like $19.25. So yeah, it shot up real big during the pandemic, and of course it came back down as the market got all situated. But yeah, I think it's a good like backup stock to have in your portfolio, just in case things do go south. You can at least make some money if
So
the stock
basically,
market crashes.
basically, you're saying if we had like a 2008 style market crash, this stock would shoot through the roof.
Yes,
Huh.
most
Very
definitely.
interesting.
Yeah.
Very
Um.
interesting.
Right. Right.
So, what
Let's
do you
see
guys think of
here.
RXRX? Because that's another thing I've seen in the comments. Was RXRX. Obviously, it was
So
down
RXRX,
10%.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said obviously it was down around 10% today. It's back up a little bit overnight. After that huge, it rallied up to nearly $10 overnight the other day.
Like I feel like it wants to take off, but it's being held down. And from what I understand, it's a very shorted stock, so it's a lot
Yeah,
harder for shorted stocks to
I'm actually going to pull up
go
the
up.
short information on it right now.
Okay, the
Yeah,
short
you're on the
Fintel.io.
Finviz.
So Fintel, FINTEL.io is where I go to find out all of the short information. It is extremely reliable. It's updated by FINRA, which is the Financial Regulatory Administration. And you just go to fintel.io. You put in the stock ticker. So in this case, RXRX space short. And then you search it.
It's not as
Click
high a
on your button.
volume as It's not as high a volume as last week, so that's good so far. Um,
So if you look at the basic stats under the shorts, you under the short information, you can't really trust that portion. That portion is updated every 2 weeks.
I'm going
What you
off of
need to
a short
do,
volume, pretty much.
what's that?
I'm going off the short volume currently.
No, exactly. That's what I'm trying to explain for everyone is so what you have to do is you have to scroll down to where day zero was just talking about is the short shares availability. So you can see if they've been increasing or decreasing their short positions. Today, it looks like, let's just go off. I mean, if we go off from 12 hours ago, they increased short positions by, looks like 1.9 million.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, so it's a short 16 hours ago there was 4.7 million short shares available, and 8 minutes ago there were 1.4 million short shares available. So it was being shorted heavily today. That we know for a fact, just due to that information. Then you scroll down further and you get to where day zero was just talking about the FINRA short volume ratio, and that today was 37.5, which is actually lower than it's been recently. Not by much though. But yeah, it's being shorted again. Um, they're a very interesting company. They do have some readouts coming spread out through this week. So that should be very interesting. They'll be at a conference in Vancouver doing these readouts. And it's my understanding that some representatives from NVIDIA will be there along with them, since NVIDIA does invest in RXRX.
Yeah, biotechnology companies are really tough. Uh, but you can see some biotechnology companies in the past, like once they, release their data and whatnot, or they get FDA approved, then you can just see that big green buy bar, and they shoot up. So like this is one of those kinds of plays that could go up to about $60. But question is when. Hopefully within the next year. They have a lot of things they are working on, as what clinical trials and whatnot. They're in the AI sector. They have a lot of good things going for them, being with Google and Nvidia now. Is that right, Newfish?
Didn't know if Google was in them.
I have
Let me.
heard Google. I have
Okay.
heard Google, but I cannot find the source right now.
Let
Um,
me see here.
yeah, let's go ahead and fact check that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. Well, if I can spell correctly. All right. So according to Google, some of the top investors in RXRX include BlackRock, RA Capital Management, Mubadala Investment Company, State Street Corporation, Vanguard Small Cap Index, Nico AM, ARC Disruptive Innovation, Bailey Gifford, U.S. Equity Growth, and Vanguard. We also know that Kathy Wood's ARC is in there as well.
Okay, so
I
I
think that
am
was my confusion.
currently,
It was the ARK Investments that invested in them, and that's Kathy Wood and the whole shebang.
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
Yeah.
on Market Beat right now, right? It says 89% of the current ownership of the company is actually institutional, um, with $690.72 million in inflow in the last 12 months. 123 institutions bought the company, while 29 sold the company, which could also be short selling. So keep that in mind on the sellers, the institutional sellers. Um, and the buy to sell ratio in every single quarter is just ridiculous. Like in Q4 of 2023, $450 million was bought and only 5 million was sold. Q1 of this year, 39 million bought, 10 million sold, and that could be shorts being sold, right?
Yeah.
Q2 was 95 million bought, only 7 million sold. Q3 was 75 million, 11 million sold, and I guarantee you in Q4 it's much higher numbers. Um, obviously Q4 is
I'm,
not over yet, but
Yeah, a
I'm
lot of
looking at
institutions buying it up.
I'm looking at the insider buy sell, and for December, there have been no insider buys, but there are 14 insiders that sold a total of
right.
288,000 shares.
And when it comes to that, a
Um,
lot of them that are selling are pre-planned to sell, and it's just a way for the owners of the company to offload their shares to the public. And I'm
Correct.
looking at the sell transactions right now. I don't have any for December, but I do have some for like October and November. And the titles are like CFO, director, CEO, I mean COO. It's literally the same three or four people selling all these shares. And
Right.
it's the
And
top people in the company, which is typical for companies like this. They're pretty much just selling it uh, off into the
Yeah,
market because currently they own
it's
15.75% of the company, insider ownership.
and it's important for us to note, just so that people know, when you see these insider sells, it doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. It doesn't mean that the insiders know, oh my God, the company's going down the tubes. We have to get out now. A lot of these are predetermined times, that have to do with pay packages and goals that are met, or just timeline goals as well. If you want to use NVIDIA as an example, Jensen Wang was selling out a lot of NVIDIA, and
oh
people
yeah.
started getting scared. But that's just part of his pay package. He gets shares, and then in order for him to get paid, he's got to turn those shares into money. That's just how the corporate level, the C-suite level pay packages are structured.
Yeah, I remember that Nvidia went to 140 earlier this year, and it came all the way down to 120 after his pay package. So it's quite a lot of money.
Yeah,
It does affect the stock though, but I also see it as a good buying opportunity when that happens.
absolutely. RXRX is actually going up in the overnight hours. It's in overnight trading, it's up 3.09%, even though it was down close to 10% today. Um, so, it's currently sitting at $7.68.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
good,
And
let me explain myself a little bit earlier. I had a conviction play about RXRX, and I knew there were readouts coming out this week, and it was hanging at $8. I think it was at $8.47, and I had a couple $8 calls. So my conviction was really high. Once these readouts, are being delivered, that the stock was going to continue to go up, but it just got shorted more, and now the stock is at $7.68. Now it's kind of like a timeline. Will it reach $8 again by the time it's Friday? And it's really hard to pinpoint where it can make a recovery. But if any of these readouts are really good, then it should make a comeback. On pre-market, we'll probably get an idea of how it's going to go.
so in response to that, what I would say, as far as seeing where the price bounces back to, what we need to a good gauge of that is to look at total call volume and what the strike is on that. Where is max pain on the calls, right? Because if the stock's being shorted, right, it's probably we know it's going to be shorted by big institutions, and we know that they don't want to have to pay out the calls. They don't want to have the responsibility of having those calls exercised and having to go and buy shares at market, because that's what ends up causing a short squeeze,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's really where you look. If you want to buy, if you want to look into short dated calls, which I mean, I don't do this. It's much easier to give advice than to take your advice, as we all know. But
For
it's
sure.
but the best way to do that would be to look at total call volume. Let's say that the largest call volume was at the $8 strike. Well, then you probably don't want to go at the $8 strike. You probably want to go at the 750 strike or the 7 strike, because you have a much better chance of hitting that strike point than you do where quote unquote max pain would be for the institutions having to pay out, if that makes sense to everybody.
Yeah, definitely. And if anyone's holding like any shorted stocks, it's smart to turn off stock lending, because if you use stock lending, institutions can use your shares, and they just add those up, and they don't really have to worry about actually paying out shares if a short squeeze happens. So
Yep.
if you're looking for a short squeeze, make sure you don't have stock lending on.
This is New Fish Big Pond. I personally have I have two different trading accounts, and in both of my trading accounts, I have stock lending turned off. It's not worth it to me to get the extra
It's
$100
not
a
the
month.
$1. It's not even $100 for me. I get like a
Yeah, it's like
dollar a month off
$1.50.
of it.
Yeah, I mean, some people end up getting because each stock has a different price on what the short shares borrow cost is, and so like let's say you have 10,000 shares of something, well then they can come in and borrow 4,000 shares, and you would end up making some good money on it, and so while that's great, it's also a short-term thought because you're just thinking about a couple $100 rather than the potential thousands of dollars that you would have during a short squeeze. So for those reasons, I make sure to keep my stock lending turned off on my accounts.
Yep, same here. So are we good with RXRX, or you want to move on to a different stock?
Yeah, whatever you want to, man.
Did you have any other questions?
We could jump into SoFi. That's another big one that I'm in on.
Ooh, I'm gonna be honest. I
I
don't
was
know much.
doing well today.
I don't
Okay,
know much about
we can
SoFi,
skip
but
over
I
that
will
one
look at the
then.
chart.
No, you're fine. We can. Do you know anything about Uber?
I know it went
I'm
down,
not.
and
Yeah, I
Oh
know
yeah,
it
that
might
know
be
it
a
thing
went
good
went
down,
up.
buying opportunity.
and yeah, I was just about to say that.
I was calling Uber pretty much right before it dropped because I knew that drop was coming. Uh, because of the Google stuff, right? Wait, was it Google?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the Google smart car, right? The second I heard about that, I'm like, okay, Uber's gonna drop, and then I basically called the bottom. I was like, okay, now's the time to buy, and that was pretty much right when it was at $65. Right now it dropped a little bit lower than that, so I mean it's still
So
at a
wait,
buy for
did you
me.
call it out when it was in the 70s, or you said 60s?
What's that?
Did you call it out on After Hour?
Okay, so basically I said, I think it was like the day before it dropped. I'm like, I threw out a hint. I didn't say buy Uber. I said it's time to start eyeing Uber. And then after the drop is when I said buy in, pretty much.
I
Which
gotcha.
it was
Yeah, because
$65 when I said that.
I know that would have been one hell of a put call. you know.
Yeah, no. I did have a put. I sold it.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Wow. What percent did you make?
I don't remember, dude. I have a screenshot of it. But I was calling the top on Uber, and then I called the bottom as well, actually, pretty well. I sold it Um, well before it bottomed out because I didn't want to risk losing money. I didn't make as much as I
That's
could have, but
Look, man. I say this all the time. It's okay to leave a little money on the table as long as you're realizing those gains. You know,
that's what they were telling me
you're
earlier in the Discord chat was pretty much like it's okay to not make money sometimes as long as you're making money and you're not losing money,
correct.
right?
Correct. That's the name of the game.
It's so
Uh,
true. It feels much better actually realizing your gains than just watching it all go away. Just because you just think it's just gonna go up again. Just sometimes just gotta cut the cord.
that's right. Speaking of cars here, did everybody hear about what happened with GM today?
No, what happened?
They
Uh,
canceled. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I heard about it. Go ahead.
Uh, I was just going to say, and Darren, please elaborate on this. GM canceled their electric vehicles,
The
Yeah, did you
robotaxi.
see?
or the robotaxi. Excuse me. Yeah, they
Did
There
you
you
canceled
go.
their
see that
robotaxi,
their share price actually increased after they said that?
which is
Yes.
crazy because it cut off a valuable part of their business. But I guess it's the fact that they won't have a draw against their profits
No one
for it. You know what I
wants
mean?
competition to Tesla. No one likes electric
Right.
cars other than the brand name Tesla.
So that's where I was going with this. Is I think it was 2 days ago. What's today? Tuesday? Couldn't have been 2 days ago. So I guess it was Monday morning, or maybe it's Monday morning, or maybe it's Sunday night. I was reading somewhere that somebody's calling for, like, one of the Bloomberg analysts was calling for Tesla to shoot to 420 to 440 relatively soon. Um, and we all saw some price action there today. I believe it closed just above 400. Um, so, while those calls are very expensive, if you have shares, I don't know. I'm not going to give anybody financial advice, but if I was holding Tesla shares, I sure as hell would not be letting them go right now. I'd be holding on to those things. You've got one major catalyst, and with Elon Musk joining the department of, or not joining, heading up the new Department of Government Efficiency,
Right, Doge.
and we Doge, exactly. And then you've got this other catalyst that happened today with GM and cutting off their robotaxi portion. So while Tesla's robotaxi is not there yet, um, less competition is always a good thing for stock price.
Okay,
Yeah,
let
and
me
if
jump in real quick.
Tesla's. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I had a comment, a question real quick. Devo Darko said, for Uber, any catalyst that you predict will bring the price back up, or do you think this was an overreaction and will correct in the coming weeks? Very good question, and I have a really good answer for that. So I do believe it was a combination of it being an overreaction, and I believe the Waymo announcement kind of just completely threw everyone off and it tanked the stock price. But here's the thing. Uber has one of the largest market caps in the rideshare and delivery industries, right? If I go to Uber, I'll pull up its market cap right now, but I promise you that this company's not going anywhere, right? I promise you that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Any major city? I don't
Let me
even rent
guys
cars.
136.84 billion market cap for a company that has 30,000 employees. I mean, that's pretty nice. And a lot of a lot of people don't work for them directly. A lot of people just, hop on the app, do a little shift, and they get the tips. And they give half of their profits to Uber, if not more. So it's definitely bullish. And then with Waymo and Tesla doing their anonymous stuff, what makes you think they're not going to use Uber to make extra profit? Why would Tesla just use a Tesla app when it could use its Tesla app as well as Uber? It just doesn't make any sense. I feel like there's going to be a large partnership between either Tesla or Waymo with Uber, and maybe the other one will go with DoorDash, or maybe it'll be just, I mean, why pick one partner when you're in Uber's shoes and not reach out to Waymo and Tesla and just get it bankrolling where you're all making money together on infrastructure that's already built up?
So
Why,
I like what you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
at least initially, with Tesla itself, it could possibly use X and create like an X delivery or X ride or whatever like that, or Tesla ride or whatever. And it would be successful. I mean, there's a lot of people that like X and there's a lot of people that like that, but people already drive for Uber. It's already convenient. At least at first, I could definitely see one of these major companies partnering with Uber, and whoever does that's going to have a lot larger of a step forward than its competition, in my opinion, at least starting out.
So I like that you
Yeah.
mentioned. I like that you mentioned competition because this is one way that I want to put it to make it real easy for folks to understand. All right, when you need a ride somewhere via a ride share app, and I'm being very specific in my words here. What do you say? Do you say I need a ride share, or do you say I need to get an Uber? Now, you might be getting a Lyft or whatever smaller rideshare companies are out there, because there's more than just Uber and Lyft. But the standard terminology that we all use is, oh, hey, I'm going to get an Uber, you know? And it's just like with copiers, right? Back in the day, Xerox was the leading copier. And so you always say, oh, hey, Xerox that. Well, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're using a Xerox copying machine because there were, tons of different copying machine manufacturers. But you still said, let's Xerox that. So Uber is the brand name. It's certainly, like Day Zero said, it's not going anywhere. It's just not. They're not going out of business. That's not going to happen. And getting to your point, Day Zero, about a partnership, what I think they will do is I think they will use each company against each other to sort of use it as a negotiation tactic. Hey, we'll give you the exclusive rights, but it's going to cost you. So who wants to pay us more? Is it going to be Tesla's Robotaxi? Is it going to be Google's Waymo?
Well, there's also a cultural side of this. Like, as a customer, are you going to want to go into a Robotaxi where, a robot just takes you to wherever you need to go to? Or would you rather a human drive you around?
For a lot of people, it's going to be based on price, uh, which, I mean, which would be another reason to just go with Uber or something because you're going to have to undercut Uber's prices to be able to take any of that market cap.
Yeah,
So
there's definitely one fact I want to go over with this Robotaxi. People are definitely going to have sex in them.
Bro, that is off. That is off topic so heavily. Getting into sex though, just to bring this up real quick, I am very bullish on sex-based AI. I'm not gonna get into all that because I don't want to make people uncomfortable on the stream, so I'm gonna drop it there. But I definitely see the sex industry evolving with AI, uh, customizable
Oh
AI.
yeah,
I'm not gonna go much further
yeah,
than that to keep it from getting
yes.
like
Wives,
off topic, but.
yeah, wives will be obsolete.
so yeah, the most that I'll say about this without going into details is that it already has.
And that is
Yeah.
AI has already, and pardon my pun, AI has already penetrated that industry.
Oh wow. So
Yeah,
jumping back
I
into
mean,
quantum
it's true,
computing.
right? They've already penetrated the industry. You
Yes.
could, so there, and we're not going to get into details because that's not what this stream is about. But it's already there. It's going to continue to grow. And that's the thing about AI is there are so many different applications that it could possibly be used for that we don't even know what they are at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I use AI every day almost, like ChatGPT and recently Grok. Like, it's become like a part of my life. Like, I don't even go on Google anymore.
Can someone
And
tell me what Grok is? I don't even know what Grok
It's
is.
it's just
X has
X's.
it.
Yeah, it's X's
It's,
version of AI. So, that
okay.
supercomputer. I guess you're just kind of logging into that through Grok, and I guess that Grok was made to, it's very useful. I mean, it makes really good pictures. I was showing you guys some pictures it made recently, and like, they can be cartoonish or they can be realistic. But yeah, that's all part of the whole Memphis supercluster that they're working on with XAI. So that's
All
Grok.
right. And then how are they powering this Memphis structure that you were just talking about? Because I just know a little bit about Memphis. I lived in Nashville for a few years, and so I would drive through Memphis, every now and then on the way to the casinos out in Mississippi. But are they doing solar farms out there, or they using they building nuclear power infrastructure? Do we have any idea of what's happening there with the power?
Yeah, they're using millions and millions of gallons of water. So I do hope
Wow.
they find a different way, and I don't know if they're going to probably add like a nuclear, reactor to it. Maybe they're not because of safety reasons, but I do know they're using millions and millions of gallons of water. So I do hope they find a different alternative. But that's what it takes, to cool down these superheating computers.
Yeah.
Right. Which brings me to Cooler, KULR as the stock ticker. I don't think Cooler has even begun to show its face yet. I really don't.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think Cooler. I think Cooler. I'm a swing trader, and Cooler is a company that I'm buying for a long term hold. I've got
Oh,
1,500 shares right now. I've got another contract for well, just one contract, but whenever that comes up, I'll exercise it. Um, I think Cooler is at a discount right now, and if you're looking for a cheap stock, I think it's trading around like $1.20 or something, right around $1.20 today. If you're looking for a cheap stock to hold, I think that's a good one. You
okay, so
know,
I'm gonna jump in
I
here as well. For
yeah, please.
KULR, it has
Oh
a
yeah,
market cap of $269 million, right? And a negative 10.47 price to earnings ratio. Well, if you go onto IonQ, right, it's a $7.13 billion market cap with a negative 41.92 price to earnings ratio. So if
that means they're in debt.
KULR, if KULR went to that ratio, that would be a 4x from where it's at. So that would be around $4.80 or so. So that would be my
Yeah,
price target. Even if they go further into debt and they boost their market cap up, that would be probably the going rate for their ratio. And that's without announcing any new partners or anything. Which
yeah.
they did announce a new partner today, right?
They did ALUR did.
KULR.
no, no,
Cooler.
Oh, KULR. Sorry, I thought you were talking about
KULR. Yeah,
oh KULR. Yes,
Yeah, I was
I
talking
was
about the
getting
same
confused
stock
with
as
another
you.
stock that I own. KULR. They announced a partnership with Nvidia this morning. I believe
They're
that's
I
also
don't think it
partnered
was
with
this
Tesla.
morning. I think it was yesterday, but it was recent.
I think it was this morning
Oh
because
yeah. I'm
yeah, because the
pretty.
stock went down after the
Yeah,
announcement.
it
yeah.
was this morning. Yeah.
Yep.
Um, and so that leads back to that Thanksgiving tweet that KULR put out where they had the robot turkey and they said that they weren't done announcing partnerships, plural.
Everyone thought they were going to say Tesla, and then they came out and
But
said
they're already
Nvidia, but they're already partnered with Tesla,
correct. So I thought that
Hmm.
they were going to go into the Tesla robot space. That was my speculation.
which they are probably as well.
So, I mean, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of possibilities. Um, didn't KULR didn't they just get a Navy contract like less than a month ago?
Yeah, like 2 or 3
Yeah, I
weeks
think that's what.
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the stock was at like 70 cents or so, and I think it got that announcement, and it went up to like $1.
Yep. Yep.
Remember
Exactly.
that?
I'd be
I
pretty
do.
comfortable full porting into it, I think.
Really?
I think I
Wow.
would be pretty comfortable. I mean, like, I know that sounds like what, but I mean, they have such strong tech like Mag 7, like out of Mag 7, I think they have 3 or 4 of Mag 7 as partners.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really bullish.
That's pretty
Yeah, I
bullish.
got 1,000 shares now of KULR, so I'm trying to at least have $1,000 into it.
So I think that KULR will become even more valuable as the quantum computing space grows. Um, there are two main considerations when it comes to quantum computing. One is the vibrations, and the other is the heat. And so you got to keep these things super, super, super cold. These quantum computing machines, and I think that KULR will be able to help out there. I also think that KULR will be able to help with AI data facilities as well. So I'm a firm believer that this stock goes to $5 next year.
Well, I would love to see that. Can we? You want to move on to another stock?
Yeah, someone told me to type in GXAI,
Oh,
but
I've been
yeah,
hearing about this today.
well, it has three
Really?
employees. It's because it's up like 30% today, but it only has three
Okay,
employees, and it's only got a $14 million market cap.
Darren, what's the building look like?
I gotta find out. Give me one moment.
So, guys, that's one thing that Darren does all the time. Darren and I talk about different stocks, and he will go ahead and pull up the building. And if it's a crappy looking building, you might want to think again about going into it. If it
Oh,
looks like it's
GXAI.
yeah, if it's a decent looking
He got fucked
building,
over
all
by a
right,
company from Wolf of Wall Street or something. That's fucking hilarious.
right, right.
Exactly.
So GXAI went up 24% during the regular trading session, and then it went an additional 12.65% in the after hours trading.
Okay, so
Currently trading
as
at
far as the
$5.70.
as far as the building goes, I can't find it. So
Who knows?
maybe it is a
Jesus.
shed.
Okay, listen to this. Their average trading volume was 18.64 million, and today's volume was 56.86 million.
I just think people are just clamoring to AI and quantum stocks. I don't know
2.5x.
what merit this company has.
I can't even find the company's. Oh, I found their website.
Okay.
If you can't find the
Gaxos?
building, that's one thing. If you can't find the website, that's another. No, I'm joking.
For real. Uh, but I like seeing a building, right? And like it has like nice architecture and good landscaping and expensive vehicles outside. That's a good sign that, you're looking at a good company.
Okay, so they do mental and physical health, coaching, and gaming AI software.
It's pretty cool. They got a
But
52-week high of $19.20, 52-week low of $1.01, and the price to earnings ratio is negative 1.64.
All right, so just bear with me here. I'm pretty sure that the market is just looking at AI to invest in and quantum, and then they came across this one and they really pumped it up this last month. Like I don't really see the merit of this company.
yeah, all it does. So I'm on their website, right? Gaxos Lab speeds up development and boosts profits with AI-powered prototyping, in-game customization, and monetized player creativity.
So
Great
is
game
this the AI
concepts,
that's
fast
behind
stories,
like
and AI. Enable players to design characters, maps, and assets in-game. Monetize custom content directly from player corrections. Integrate AI tools into your development platform. That's their gaming side. So basically, character customization and like accessories. Gaxos Health is like meal plans, custom plans, monitor your health journey with intuitive updates,
I wonder what came
and
first. If they just got into gaming recently and that's why it spiked up, or if they got into any of those other sectors and it spiked up.
let me know if you know any of these
Because
names.
Go back a year on the chart and you'll see it was way up, then it dipped, and then within the past month, it has completely shot up an insane amount which is not normal. It's like over, I think it's 343% for the, sorry, I'm looking at other stocks right now too.
See who
But I
they're
think it's,
Yeah,
partnered with.
343% for the week.
yeah, which that makes me, just me personally, that makes me not want to invest. I feel like
Yeah,
I feel like it's at the local top right now.
it could be a good covered call opportunity, you think?
Covered calls. I mean, if they even have options
Well,
Oh, you're
enabled.
right. They don't have options yet.
they don't have options. So yeah. So
Well,
when a company doesn't have options, there's two reasons for that. One, it's not available for their size on whatever index, whatever market they're being traded in. Or number two, the company doesn't want options available on it. I was looking into this on a different stock and called Fidelity, who's one of my brokers, and that this is what their options trading team told me.
well, there you have it.
Yeah. I don't know
So
how I feel about Gaxos other than the fact that it's like really high right now, just randomly. But
Yeah, I mean,
it'd
I
be a
could
good
probably
thing to
confidently
check out
put.
who they're partnered with.
Yeah, puts on the table here. I think
yeah, yeah.
maybe a put, uh,
One second.
but I don't know. I don't know if anybody's like has a lot of money in that or been has experience in that particular stock. But
So
I'm streaming right now.
it's
I want
different. I mean, I think the gaming aspect might be something, but I don't know. You know, I just heard about
Yeah.
it now, so I've already tried to look for the building, and there's no building. So um,
to.
I'm a little apprehensive.
It's only
Is
three
this
people.
somebody's
They all
house?
work from home.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It could be from their house, and they just
Right?
design character software all day. I mean,
It legit
it's
could
definitely
be.
possible. Yeah.
So I want to talk about one little tip here real quick for all of our listeners and viewers. Um, One thing that I've learned is to watch the trading volume. As we were just going over the numbers for GXAI, you know, we said that it was trading, the volume was trading at about 2.5x its normal trading volume today. So when you see numbers like that in the morning, when you see super high volume in the morning, you want to buy in because as long as the line graph is going in the right direction, you want to buy in because chances are that volume will continue throughout the day, which means that if you get in, you know, early, if you see some wild numbers happening pre-market, you want to make sure you get in because the stock is most likely going to rise throughout the day.
Yeah, it's like riding the
And
wave.
exactly, you know, so if you're a day trader, you probably already know this trick, but that's a great way to day trade. If you're a swing trader, you can use it to your advantage. A lot of people set stop losses. I personally do not set stop losses. I just watch the damn market all day and freak out anytime there's a penny movement.
Perfect.
But but stop losses can be dangerous if you have them set overnight because of liquidity sweeps. And so, you know,
Mhm.
Did you
people
see
should
the
just keep that
liquidity
in mind.
sweep on Bitcoin here recently?
What's that?
Did you see the liquidity sweep on Bitcoin? It took out like $2 billion today.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw Bitcoin go down to 96 and I was like, what is this? And then I saw it went down to 95 and I was like, oh my God, I need to buy some. Then I had a meeting and I came out of my meeting and it was back up to 96 and a half. And I was like, Jesus, come on.
Yeah, that
That thing
stuff
really
was crazy,
moves.
man. And then Nvidia as well was down like what, like 2%, 2.69%, which 2% of $3.4 trillion is a lot of money, man.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be a weird month, you know, with tax loss harvesting. feel like retail is I don't know this. This is just me thinking. But I feel like retail doesn't have the extra money to put into the market during the month of December because they're busy buying holiday gifts, they're busy planning holiday travel, and spending money on holiday travel as well. And then you also tax loss harvesting as well. So
that makes a lot of sense.
That's just one thing that makes December. I know a lot of us have been seeing red in our portfolios, and that's just one more thing that keeps December hard. Personally, I'm going to start staying. I'm going to start staying away from options for the rest of the month, and try to focus on shares, because I just don't really know what's happening in the market right now.
Yeah. Can we talk about Rocket Lab?
Yeah, we can talk about Rocket Labs. Obviously, I made a pretty good call on Rocket Lab today. I bought it into it yesterday after the huge dip. I bought the bottom and then I sold the top this morning on the options. So I had an options call for that, and then obviously it trailed down post open.
Yeah, this dip really got me pretty bad, especially buying a call last week when I was setting up my calls because it dipped from like 28 to 24, and I thought that'd be a good time. It looked like it had support there, and now just what happened yesterday, and it just dipped so hard, and now we're seeing support at 22. So I know it's 22.85 right now, and usually whenever a stock consolidates like this, it chooses a direction, and it's usually a pretty volatile direction. So I'm hoping the next one is up because this stock has just been running for the last month, and
but it's run up to like a negative 60 price to earnings ratio. I mean, not like that matters as much these days, but for an $11.42 billion company, that's pretty pretty wild. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, they spend a lot of money on R&D, and this company, I feel like, is just a major player in the space area, space sector.
is there a chance of them diluting shares? That's a good question.
There's always a chance of that. That's a very, very good question. There's always a chance of doing that. Companies will dilute the shares in order to gain more revenue. But I don't think that that their CEO Peter Beck, I don't think he's looking at that right now. The last I heard, their balance sheet. So it's important to note that the director of NASA has been tweeting out about Rocket Lab as well. So I saw 4 tweets from him. I believe they were all from last week, and he was saying that he liked Rocket Lab as a company. He likes what they do. He likes what they're doing, and he believes in their future. And this is all coming from the director of NASA. So that alone makes me very, very bullish on it. Oh, and he also said that he liked their balance sheet.
So very good endorsement.
That means, so if he likes their balance sheet, what he's saying there is that while they may be negative, they have enough capital to run for years. I think it was like 2 to 3 years that they have enough capital to run. And they just did a launch in November. This must be who the secret launch was for, but news just came out this week that the secret launch that they did in November was actually for the Department of Defense. So if they're getting into the government sector now, I know the Canadian government has used them for a launch as well, along with private industry. But all of this just screams a price increase to me. So we were talking about calls. Darren was saying that he has calls. I have calls as well. And every time the price dips, I buy another lower strike call, because my plan is to ride out whatever the lowest strike is. My plan is to ride that out all the way to exercise it, so I can get a 100 share block at a really great price, because I strongly believe in this company. I had Rocket Lab at $8, sold it at 11 because I felt like I made good profit and wanted to move on to something else. Boy, was that a mistake. That was a big
Yeah.
mistake,
Yeah,
you know?
I bought it post drop, thankfully. Uh, I know that's
No,
not
that's a good
everybody,
time to
but
buy it. Yeah, for real. Yeah, I got $25 calls expiring on Friday. I had a really good jump this morning, and I was able to de-risk 50% of my calls.
so
And
I do think Palantir
Smart
is
move.
another company. Palantir obviously dropped today, and then they dropped around when Rocket Labs also dropped. It was like pretty much simultaneously.
I
So
think it is like a market-wide occurrence, because overall market has been down last couple of days, and we might see in the next couple of days up. Just have you seen that graph? I'm actually looking for it on After Hour right now. Somebody posted a graph about a possible reversal pretty soon in the market.
Well,
Um,
we have CPI coming out tomorrow, and I believe PPI comes out the next day, maybe.
so yeah, those need to
Uh,
be good, I believe, to make that reversal happen.
right. I was reading today that every Wall Street is pretty much just in a holding pattern until these numbers come out.
yeah, Wall Street is definitely in a holding pattern currently. Um, we're just pretty much waiting for that info drop. Uh, I believe it'll be bullish, honestly, and even if it's not, we have a new administration coming in, so the market's going to shake up either way.
That's right.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm still bullish on Rocket Lab. I hope it consolidates, by tomorrow. But we also got to keep that CPI, you know, in our thoughts and everything. And hopefully, with those results, the market will get back to what it's been doing. Let's see here. You want to move on to GameStop?
Yeah, we can
Let's
move
go to
on to the
GameStop.
GameStop
Oh
stocks.
boy.
Yeah, so obviously after market close, when it announced its obviously it's at a 216 price to earnings ratio, but ignoring that, we're just gonna go into its earnings. It beat earnings substantially. So then, of course, it had a little bit of a run there. It ran
It
from
pushed
20,
up it pushed up to $30.50
yeah, and then
after
it's
earnings.
been trending up since then, right? Like it consolidated and then it's been pushing
So
as well.
it right now I'm looking at it, and it's trading at $27.94.
I would expect
Look at that
probably a
big red bar.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's called profit taking, right?
I
Yeah,
mean, I would have
that's a lot.
definitely sold that. Definitely. I mean, are you kidding
I
me? If your stock went up like to $30, I mean, if you didn't sell, you'd be kind of just an. I mean, I'm not gonna say an idiot, but I don't see what you're expecting past that $30.
Call me an idiot, and I'm happy that you did this. I'm happy you did this. So I exercised a GameStop call last Friday on 12/6. I exercised it at $27, but I had two calls that had gone up so much in value that I sold one of the calls. It covered my premium for both calls, and it also reduced my share cost to 26.50. The reason I did not sell today at 30.50 is, um, as I've mentioned in the past, and I've posted on After Hours with a link to the article. Um, there's a very strong possibility that when Trump comes in office, he outlaws naked shorting. And I know some people are happy about that. I'm one of them. Some people think it will be bad for the market. Um, Personally, I would like to see the playing field leveled for retail. We are not supposed to win in this game, guys. We are supposed to lose. That it is built up. It is built against us.
Oh yeah.
And so if naked shorting is made illegal and failure to delivers mean actual penalties rather than just a 1% of whatever profit they made shorting and failing to deliver the shares, that will make companies think again about shorting. We all, whether you were in it, which I was not, but everybody's heard about, the MOAS, the mother of all short squeezes that happened back in like 2021 or whatever.
I was there.
You were there. There you go. We've got different perspectives here. I love it. I'm not
Well,
I'm not one of these I'm not one of these guys that thinks that GameStop's going to shoot up to $1,000 a share. I'm certainly not one of those guys, but I could see it shooting to 60, 65 if all of this came about. I'm also a believer that they are going to adopt Bitcoin, and that they're going to adopt Bitcoin payment as well. I don't have any data to prove this. This is just my gut telling me, which a lot of my trading just goes on my gut. And I as Day Zero was saying, the book doesn't make sense, right? When you look at their earnings ratio. But it's also sort of a meme cult stock, and I think as things get better for the stock, the people that really, really like the stock are just going to buy more and more of it. And so if we can cut shorting out of it, I could definitely see this going from 27 to 54 easily.
Yeah, they essentially have like an infinite money glitch with these naked shorts and failure to delivers. So um, I really think that we would experience a short squeeze if even news about that being illegal comes out. Um, Probably much like the one that happened in 2021.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, and just to go back to 2021, GameStop was at like $2.50 a share. And I was on Wall Street Bets at the time, and I saw Deep Effing Value, which we all know now is Roaring Kitty.
Yes.
And he was just buying shares, just buying shares. And soon it was at $5, and then $20, and then 30 and whatnot. So I think I had like an average of like 40 or $50 per
I think
GameStop share.
RX is definitely going to be after hours GameStop,
Yeah,
and
yeah. I
we'll
actually
know
had that
short.
same thought.
We'll have
Yep.
Squeeze Kid as our roaring kitty on that as well.
I love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you guys are on after hours and you don't follow Squeeze Kid, you might want to rethink that one.
People
He
get
definitely
mad at
deserves more.
everybody. I mean, when they're losing money, but honestly, with this stock, I mean, with RXRX, you're only losing money if you didn't buy in when it was at six
Yeah, definitely
bucks.
hold shares. I feel like this is more of a share stock. I personally had a couple calls this week because about the readouts coming out this week, and it was already going up. So I had some really good conviction that it would continue to go up. And if you pay attention to what Squeeze Kid is saying, once it gets to $10, it's just going to keep going up from
Once
there.
it breaks
That's
that
going to be the past.
psychological barrier, it's gonna probably go up. Same thing with Bitcoin, like it's consolidating right now, but I do see it going to at least under $25,000, which would make me a lot of money, right? Like, of course, it's wishful thinking, but I mean, what would that be?
My
Like a $50,000 gain for me, me alone. So
Well, I mean,
my
hey, you've also got all the miners, so as the price of Bitcoin goes up, all of the share price of your Bitcoin miners goes up as well. You've got your MicroStrategy, you've got your Mara, you've got your Riot, I mean, etc. Clean Spark.
Okay, well, yeah, this is a good segue to MicroStrategy.
yeah,
They're going to be included into QQQ possibly.
Yeah,
Have you heard about this?
yeah, they're
it
actually
looks like
going up
Moderna
overnight
is.
as well right now.
It is.
Yeah, it's up 1%. I mean, not substantially, but I'd say 4.5% on the daily though. I mean, I'd say that's pretty needed increase for their stock after how much they've been squeezing off.
It
Bitcoin
looks
might be
like it's
running
all
right now. I'm watching
it
Bitcoin.
is. There's all green bars. So it's green bars right now.
It's went
And that's just
from
on the news.
95. What news?
Oh, the news of the potential of it being added to QQQ.
Well, so Moderna had some pretty big price drops today. And it looks like Moderna's getting kicked off. And it looks like MicroStrategy is going to take the place
No,
of Moderna.
they're getting added into spot number 40. 'Cause it's
MicroStrategy?
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean they're not even close to the bottom of the list.
no,
No, not at all.
Moderna's not even in the top 100, so
right.
they're getting kicked off. You
Yep,
know what I mean?
that's
So
exactly
it's not
right.
even a competition. Like they're more than in the 50 percentile.
Yeah, they're
So
going to be adding a little bit of chaos to QQQ with MicroStrategy,
it
which I'm all for.
looks like I'm going to be buying back into some 2x leverage.
That's
Yeah.
the MSTU, right?
Yeah, the
Believe
one I've been
so.
stuck with for months.
Well, it might be a good stuck or a good stick that you've had.
I think
We'll
so
have to
as
see. I know a
well.
lot of people have been bag holding MSTR for a bit, depending on when they got in or how much they averaged up. But that could all change soon. So if the announcement comes, if the announcement comes Friday, then inclusion will be the
If the
following
announcement
Friday, I
comes
believe.
Friday, I'll be up around $10,000, dude. I'll be pretty happy.
Right.
Hell yeah.
So
It's
inclusion would come on the 20th of December.
And with inclusion, I mean obviously that's a ridiculous amount of and during that entire time of it being included, they cannot dilute shares either or issue convertible bonds. So they're not gonna
Okay.
be able to knock the price down during that period. And you could see like a existential bull run just off of volume on that period, and it could definitely run up to a new all-time high. And then obviously, like it could even be not a short squeeze, right? Like I'm not gonna say it's a short squeeze, but what some retail investors might do is try to run up the price of MicroStrategy as high as it possibly can prior to it being completely listed on that list. That way it's bought up by the institutions.
Right.
I have 100
So
fucking people watching me, bro.
when MicroStrategy gets included, or we'll say if at this point, if
Right.
MicroStrategy gets included, then the ETFs that buy up the Nasdaq companies, they'll be required to purchase into MicroStrategy.
Right.
So that's only going to drive the price up even higher. So if retail can drive the price up high, then the institutions must buy at that not inflated, but at that higher rate, which then only makes the price go a little bit higher, as Day Zero was saying.
Correct.
yeah,
And
definitely. I think that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to try to drive it up artificially, so to say, and get that high price in whenever it goes into
wrap it up
QQQ.
in a minute.
But I'm pretty sure MicroStrategy is known for diluting its shares on purpose and then buying Bitcoin with it.
Right.
Isn't that pretty much its shtick?
So whenever MicroStrategy dilutes the shares, it doesn't dilute the share price. Because anytime they dilute the shares, they take the money that they've gotten for share dilution and they purchase Bitcoin with it. So while it's
Definitely.
diluting the shares, the share price is not affected.
Well,
It's actually,
It's a volume metric.
exactly, and it actually helps the share price in the long term, because in the long term, the price of Bitcoin is going to go up. So with every share dilution, aka every purchase of Bitcoin that MicroStrategy does, and they hold their Bitcoin, then they can just have the Bitcoin increase in price, which in turn makes the share price increase.
Yeah, and we
Well,
have
I'll
quite
have
a
to
few
start wrapping it
millionaires
up.
with MicroStrategy.
Definitely.
Yes,
There's
we
like someone
do.
with like $10 million that's full ported into it. I'm gonna have to start wrapping it up here. If you guys have any final thoughts.
Yeah, if there's
Well,
some questions and answers
Okay, yeah,
or
we
that we
can
could
see
do.
if there's any quick questions in the chat. Um, I believe we already went over a lot of the questions. So, I mean, we can definitely do a Q&A on After Hour and see what people's main questions are, and then do a stream on
Yeah.
that tomorrow evening. So that
And
might be the way to
this is
go.
New Fish Big Pond. Anybody that has any questions about anything, please never hesitate to reach out to me. I answer as many of my comments as I can, and I love to help spread the knowledge that I've gained through After Hour. And if I can't answer your question for you, I can most likely loop in the right person to answer that question for you. So please don't hesitate to reach out.
Perfect. Well, everyone
yeah,
have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
All
Darren,
right.
did you
Thanks
have
a
all right.
lot for
anything to
tuning
say
in,
real
everyone.
quick before I cut
Thanks,
off?
guys.
All
Bye.
right, perfect, guys. Peace out.